make something happen for myself. In our lesson today, familiar story of the eagle and how the eagle stirs a nest. And I know some of you, as soon as I said it, you thought about Aretha Franklin's father. That was a famous message. Some of y'all said, because you're too young. You don't know. Talking to some of these older ones. That was one of the famous messages of his time back there. The eagle stirred her nest. And it's a very good illustration for us because that's what God does to us. That's what God does because he doesn't desire for us to be so dependent that we don't try for ourselves. The Bible tells us that faith without works is dead being alone. So what that means is I got faith that God is able to do anything. I believe in God. I know he can. I know he got all power in his hand. That's the faith. There's no power above him, no power greater than him. There's no sickness too hard, no trouble that's the faith part of it. And we've got that. We've got that faith. We've got the faith. But then it said faith without works. Now, that works has nothing to do with your salvation. That's not what he's telling you to work for, because you can't work for your salvation. I'm going to say that all the time. You can't work for your salvation. You've got to receive salvation. You don't work for it. If you had to work for it, then Jesus didn't have to die. Is that right? Because if you still got to work for salvation, he might as well get on the cross for it. But he got on the cross that we may be able to receive salvation. But I often talk about what? The benefits. I want to talk about that a lot. The benefits that come with salvation. The extra things that come with our salvation. The peace, the joy, the contentment, the progress, the going to that next level. That's the works. When it says faith without works is dead. So along with our faith, we've got to be willing to do something in order to get to that next place. We can't just be settled and satisfied with where we are, but we've got to be willing to do whatever it takes to get to that next place. When we see trouble and different things happen in our lives, most of the time we attribute it to the enemy. We say how the enemy is stirring up trouble. And a lot of times it is the enemy, most times. But something I found out about God, that he uses the enemy to get his will done. Oh, somebody said you talking crazy now. God uses the enemy to get his will done. God uses things. He uses the tricks and the tactics of the enemy to get us to move, to get us to begin to seek him the more, to get us to get tired of where we are. God uses the enemy. The Bible said all things work together for the good, right? Anybody read that? All things work together. So even the tricks and the tactics that the enemy is using against us, if we allow God to work it, it's going to work for our good. Ooh, that's good. So see, when your enemy think he got you and think he's doing stuff to you, he's really helping you. When your enemy think he's, knocking you down and putting stumbling blocks and roadblocks, what the enemy really is doing, he's helping you out. That's why you ought to be glad for your enemies. Woo, you ought to be glad for them because they're helping you. You wouldn't have prayed the way you started praying if it hadn't been for that girl bothering you at your job. If it had not been for them messing with you the way they was messing with you, that wouldn't have forced you you wouldn't have been on your knees. But when they got to you, you got on your knees and began to seek God. And when you sought God, you discover that there's a whole new place in God that you didn't know about. You discovered that there was a whole nother realm in God that you heard about it, but you didn't discover it until something pushed you on your knees. Ooh, something pushed you to fast. Something pushed you to that word. Something pushed you to church. You didn't think there was really nothing to it, but then something pushed you to it, and when you got to it, you discover, oh, this is more than just a fairy tale. Any witnesses in this house? I discovered it was more than a fairy tale. But God has to do some things, though, in order to get us to that place. Because if not, we'll get comfortable. We'll decide that this is where I'm going to be, and that's it. This is the place. I know what's happening here. I know it's been like this for 20 years, and it's fine. I don't care if it's 4 people in here. I know the 4 people, and I'm fine with the 15 people that's here. And what it'll do, it'll cause us to get comfortable. We won't talk. We won't stretch out, because I'm fine with it. I know Mother Stanton's attitude already. I know Mother Wallace's attitude already. I know Sister Harris's. I already know their attitude, so I'm comfortable with them. I know how to handle them. But when you get ready for growth, when you get ready for others, you got to expand, because you're going to run into some different stuff. You're going to run into some different minds and some different attitudes and some different things you got to deal with. And a lot of times we don't move to the next level because we don't want to deal with the challenges that come. We don't want to go to school because we don't want to deal with the challenge of school. We don't think about the reward. We think about the challenge. But if you get your mind off of the challenge, think about the reward if I go on through it. If I hang in there and go on through it, there's a reward that's coming. But so often we get so focused on the challenge. And the challenge frightens us. Because I don't want to step out there and fail. If I step out there and fail, folk gonna say, see, you shouldn't even try it. Why did you even do it? I don't want to step out there. No, I don't want to fall in love. I ain't gonna even take a chance on nothing or nobody because I don't want to get hurt. So I'm gonna stay by myself. Well, sometimes you got to take a chance. And in your taking the chance, you probably gonna get hurt sometime. Oh, don't nobody want to testify. Everybody didn't find love at first, that first one wasn't the first, wasn't the one some of us might have been, but you went through some. The married folk don't want to talk to me here. You had to go through a couple, 4, 5, 6, 10 of them before you found the right one. But you had to be willing to step out there. You had to be willing to get hurt. See, some of us will never, ever find that one because we don't want to be vulnerable. I'm talking a different message here today. I done got off my message. I don't think this is where I'm supposed to be. But in this lesson, it talked about the eagle stirring a nest. And we're familiar, about 6 to 7 months after an eagle lays eggs, it's about time for the eagle to start to fly for itself. And it's interesting, even when the egg is getting hatched and the eagle is getting ready to bust out of the egg, the mother sits there and watches the eagle struggle to come out of the egg. She don't go over there and run and assist. Baby, let me help you out this egg. She don't run over there. She lets him struggle to get out of the egg. She lets him struggle. She understands that if he's going to survive, he's going to have to understand the struggle early. If he's going to make it, and be tough, I cannot baby him or her in everything. Ooh, this should have helped some of y'all mothers right there. Because y'all do everything for these children, man. Come here, let me wipe your nose. The baby 10 now. I think at 10, he wipe his own nose. Some of us, we do that, though, to our children. We think we're helping them, but we're really handicapping them in a sense, because every time they whimper, moan, or cry, we run into them. And I'm not talking about babies. I'm talking about even as they mature. We're running, let me help you. They know they don't even have to be responsible, because if I fall short, I can call mama. And mama gonna Western Union me that money. She gonna transfer me that money. Ooh, it's quiet in here. I'm messing with everybody. The parents and the children that got upset.